Yeah.
Okay. Okay, today we are going to start about what encapsulation in Java. Encapsulation is one of the OOPS principles. Okay, we will understand this in detail, right? So this is one of the important topics because it is coming under one of the object-oriented programming system. This is very important. Huh? Before even starting to understand about the encapsulation, we have to understand two methods. The name of the methods are what? The accessor method and the mutator method. Accessor methods and the mutator methods. Right? So what these methods are really about? Okay, what we are going to do with this method? And first of all, the question has to come: what is an accessor method? Okay, why it is very important to understand the accessor method before understanding the topic of encapsulation? Okay, we'll understand what is an accessor method. Accessor method. Right? Let me take a small example. So let me remove all these if things are not required. Okay, let me create a simple class. Okay, let me create a simple class. So these are not required. Okay, I have a person class, right? So inside my person class, okay, I have a main method. So I'm going to take only one variable. I want to take only one variable. But instead of taking a person class, let us say that I have the class here. Let me move this main method to a different class. This is called as what? Class B. Okay. So I have a class A and I have class B. And let me also place this class under a package. Package ABC. So in my ABC package, I have two classes, class A and class B. Right. Now pay some attention here. So I am declaring a variable like the name of the variable is something like integer balance equal to 1000. So 1000 is a value that is assigned to the variable name balance of integer type. But I want to protect this variable. I want to do what? I want to give the protection to this variable. Protection in the sense, I want to ensure that you cannot access this variable outside the class. Because this variable is part of class A, I want to ensure that this variable is secured, this variable is kept secured, and it cannot be accessed outside the current class. How I can do that? By simply declaring this variable as private. If I do this, it's clearly visible that you cannot access this variable outside the class. Yes or no? If I try to create an object like a obj equal to new a, right? The object has been created for the class A. The moment I start to access that particular variable like system.out.println, right? So what I want to do? I want to do what? Obj dot the variable name which is balance. The moment I do this, let's see what will happen. So we have discussed about the access modifiers in the exercise class, right? So let me save the file name as b.java, meaningful file name. Now let me perform the compilation. Java C space -d space dot space b.java. Okay, compile. This is the compilation command, and this is the directory command, and you want to compile which source file b.java. Okay. Now you see you are getting an error balance as a private access in. Right. So it is visibly seen that you cannot get access to this variable outside the class. But I want to get access. Somehow I want to get access to this variable. Somehow I want to get access to this variable indirectly. Directly it is not allowing me. Directly it is saying that this object is the reference type of class A, right? And you are trying to access the variable name which is the private variable. You cannot access the private variable. That is what the error says. Private variable cannot be accessed outside the class. The error is very clear. Balance as private access in here, right? But I want to get access to this private variable indirectly, not directly. It is not allowing me. Indirectly. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to trick the compiler. I'm going to do what? I'm going to trick the compiler, right? I'm going to create a method. What do I want to do? I'm going to create a method. Okay, I can take the name of the method like any method I can take. Okay, let me say that the name of the method is something like get access, or else I can say that the name of the method is something like uh, balance variable. Okay. Integer get variable. Focus here. I have taken a method. The name of the method is something like get variable, right? And the return type of this method is what? Integer. Okay, why integer? You are trying to trick the compiler to get the access to the private variable indirectly by using a method, right? So you're dealing with the integer data type. So I have taken it as integer, and you want to do what? You want to return the balance. You want to return the balance, right? And declare this method as the public method. You might be thinking why I need to take this method. Now you see the beauty of this method. Just to see the beauty of the methods. So you are doing what? You have just built a method. This is not an ordinary method. Why it is not an ordinary method? And you have built a method by the name of get variable, which is returning the integer value. It is going to return the integer value. And what you are returning? You are returning the balance. Now see the wonder. Okay, the moment I start instead of accessing the variable, the moment I start accessing the get variable method, obj.get variable method, if I compile and execute this code once again, compile Java space abc dot, you are getting the access to the variable. Now see, you might be asking me, sir, what is this? There is a kind of violation. There is a kind of violation. Why there is a kind of violation? You might be seeing that there is a kind of violation because indirectly you are able to get access to the private variable. So this is the private variable that we are dealing with. Yes, directly I cannot access this. Directly I cannot access this because I have created an object for the class here. So with the help of this object reference, okay, it will allow me to access only the method, because method is of what type? Method is of public type, right? The method is of what type? Method is of public type. I can access this directly with the help of this reference variable obj dot. I can access this directly, but I cannot have access to this because it's a private variable, right? But what this method is doing, this method is indirectly, taking the value of the balance, right? The moment you call this method, okay, the moment you call this method obj dot get variable method, the control will be transferred to the get variable method, right? What this get variable method is doing, it is just returning the balance of what? Balance of the variable private. So within the class, this private will give access to the method within the class. Okay, it will transfer what? It is going to take the balance, which is value of the balance, which is 1000. Okay, this 1000 will be returned to the control, which will be transmitted back to the system.out.println statement. That's why you are getting the output as 1000 in the console, right? But if you think this 1000 is a value which is part of the balance variable, and again this balance variable is strictly declared along with the private access modifier. Directly you're not able to get access, but you're able to get access indirectly through the method. You know what I'm trying to say? Directly I'm not able to get access, indirectly I'm able to get access. So I can also put it like, okay, it is just like, I can say that it is a method which is used to retrieve the value of private instance variables. I can say that, okay, this is the method which is used to retrieve the value of private instance variable. Directly you are not able to get access, but indirectly through the help of this method I am able to retrieve the value. Okay, this helping method, okay, this is called as the helping method. This helping method is called as what? The accessor method. You can say that this helping method is called as what? Accessor method. Right, I will tell you, you might be having a lot of doubt. Sir, you are seeing here something like the security is compromised. Okay, you are thinking like the variable is private, but this variable can be accessed through the help of a method. That method is called as accessor method. still from outside the class. So there is a kind of situation where the security is compromised. Directly it is not possible, indirectly it is seen that indirectly it is getting possible. So do you think that there is a compromise of security? I will answer to that point later. Let me give you some points here. Okay, the points I can note here is what is an accessor method. You can say that first point, the very simple point. Okay. Accessor method is used to retrieve or get the value of a private instance variable. Okay. The second point to be noted is you are just able to get access to the data. So only the thing that this method is helping you to get access to the data only, to get access to the actual data of the private instance variable, but it is not allowing you to modify. Remember that. Accessor method will allow you to access the private instance variable, but it will not allow you to do the modification. If you have such methods, that method is called as what? The accessor method. Right? I can add another point like, what is another point that I can add? It does not modify the data. Okay, you can say that you can do only the read operation. If you can do only the read operation, or else I can say that if you can build a method which allows you to get access to the private instance variables, right? And where you can perform the read only operation, the read only operation. The read only operation is called as what? Accessor method. Read only operation. You cannot modify the data, right? And the next rule is, see guys, for example, so there is a rule to design an accessor method. What is a rule? For example, when you have a variable like focus here, when you have a variable like a private string, let us say that location. So this is the variable name. If I ask you to build an accessor method for this variable name, okay, just try to differentiate. Okay, I can say that this is the variable name, first thing. I can say that this is the data type, second thing, right? So the method should be, the name of the method should be developed in such a way that you have to give the name of the method, like firstly try to use the word get. Okay. Or else I can say that prefix the variable name along with the get, or else I can say that it usually has a get prefix. After the get prefix, concatenate the variable name. What is a variable name that we are dealing with now? This is the variable, location is the variable name. Okay, start the variable name with the capital letter. Start the variable name with what? Capital letter. Right? So the method name, the accessor method name becomes what? Get location method. This is the accessor method. So you should always prefix the variable name with the word get, right? And the first letter of the variable name should be capitalized. Right? This is the exact name that you are going to do. This is the rule. This is not the rule. This is a guideline that you have to follow to define an accessor method. Right? And also, what data type you are using here? String. Okay, you should use what? You should use the string here, right? And what access modifier you have to use here? Public. Always remember you should use the public access modifier, right? So you give the body, and what you have to return? You have to return the same variable name. Then should be like the variable name is location. You have to return the location. Okay, this is how you can define an accessor method. For example, let me say I have a private variable like private double. I can say that hetero. If I ask you to build an accessor method for this private variable. Okay, what you should do, always remember, okay, you have the method name petrol, right? Prefix the, variable name petrol. Prefix the variable with the word get. Capitalize the first letter of the variable name P. Then remaining thing is what? Petrol. Okay, and opening simple and closing simple brackets, right? And the data type is double. We use the double here. Okay? Always remember the access modifier has to be what? Public, right? And body of the method, and you have to return what? You have return the same variable name, which is petrol. You have to use the petrol. This is the equivalent accessor method for this variable. Okay, there are a lot of uses for this accessor method. Okay, so in the real-time application development, without having this accessor method, it's very difficult to transfer data from one location to another. So you will see that in actions, but don't underestimate this topic. Okay, now try to do this for me. Try to find, try to develop the equivalent accessor method for this private, okay, long number. Now it's your turn. I want you to develop the accessor equivalent accessor method for this variable. Come on, do it. How you would develop the equivalent accessor method for this variable name? Private long number. Long is a data type and number is the variable name and private is the access modifier. I want you to give me the equivalent accessor method. Everyone, Lakshmi, Teja, Monica, Srikant, Sudhir, Balaji, right? This portion in the chat box. Okay, public long get number body. Okay, yes, correct, exactly. But one thing you missed, you need to use what? You should also use the return keyword, right? That is missing. What is the question? This is the variable, private variable. We want to convert this private variable to the like accessor method. Okay, get should be prefixed with the variable name, and the first letter should be capitalized, and give the body, and method access modifier should be public, right? And the return type is long. You are using long as a return type, okay? And you have to return what? You have to return the exact variable, which is what? Number, right? So this is the accessor method. So with the help of this accessor method, I can just extract all the values. Okay, let me show you another example. I may be having, okay, let me take the name of the class as person class. Okay, focus here. So my person class is going to have two private variables. Okay, private variables are like private string name and private teacher. So these both are the private variables, right? So these are strictly private, but still I want to get access to these to these private variables. What I want to do, I want to develop a method called the accessor method. The first accessor method with respect to the name variable, how I can develop, use the get prefix, right, followed by the variable name, and should be capitalized. First letter should be capitalized. A simple opening and closing brackets. Give the body, right, declare the access modifier as public. Use the same return type. Data type should be the return type here, string, and you have to return what? Use the return keyword followed by the variable. Okay, first accessor method is complete, right? And the second accessor method for the age variable, right? I can say that public, okay, integer is a return type, get followed by the age. Get has to be a prefix followed by the variable name. The first letter of the variable name should be capitalized. Okay, and you have to return what? You have to return the ages. So for the simplicity, let me give the values like Balaji. Okay, let me give the values like what? Let me give the values like age is set, let me say 20. Right now, if you see it, okay.
Sir, name equal.
Okay, equal to is missing. Huh? Okay. person obj equal to new person. If I want to get access to these private variables, I cannot get access, I cannot have access directly. So I have built an accessor method, right? So that I can get the values of the private variable. Indirectly, I'm doing this, right? So system dot out dot println, right? So by using this reference variable obj dot name followed by obj dot age. Now we are able to achieve something. Achieve in the sense we cannot get access to these variables directly. We are getting the access to these variables indirectly. We are getting access. So we are getting access to the methods. That method is called as what? Accessor method, and they are also called as what? The getters. Remember this one. Okay, the accessor methods are also called as what? The accessor methods are also called as getters. The methods are also called as what? Getters. Getters. How to design the accessor method? Okay. It usually also I can say that the name of the method should get prefixed with the word get, and the followed by the variable name by capitalizing using the first letter, okay? And the return keyword return type should be same as the variable data type. Return type should be same as the variable data type. And in addition, okay, access modifier must be public, and variable name should be written. Example, one more point I can add, these accessor methods are also called as what? They are also called as the getters. Okay, the accessor methods are also called as getters. Right? Example, if you have a private variable like this, right? And if you want to develop the getter or accessor method, equivalent getter or accessor method, but how I can do getter or accessor method. Okay, what I'm supposed to do? Okay, public data type long get followed by the variable name. The first letter should be capitalized, and return what? Return the variable itself. Very simple, isn't it? Accessor method. Okay. Now we know what is an accessor method. For now, just keep this in mind. This is how the accessor method can be built. After building it, what is its usage, and what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? That things we are going to discuss. So let us also understand about the mutator methods. Okay. What is the mutator method? Okay. For this, to understand this, let me give you the another example. Okay, let me show you the another example. Okay, let me take a program. Okay, let me remove all this. Okay, let us execute this first. I want to execute this now. Let me execute this. What is missing here? Semicolon is missing here. I should get access to what? I should get access to the get name, not the variable name. Method name. Okay? Get age. Because I tried getting access by using the variable names which are of private type, but it's not possible. That's why we got this error. My intention is I want to see what values are there inside this variable. So directly I cannot get access. So I am using the accessor method, so that this accessor method will return me the values that are placed inside this private variable, name and the age. Right? So I'm using what? Get. I am calling get name method. I'm calling get age method. Now this will help me out. Java Balaji 20. Right? Now let us understand about what the mutator methods. Okay, let me remove this. Okay. So I am taking only one variable for the simplicity. I am taking only one variable. And if you see, this variable is a private variable. This variable is what? This variable is a private variable. For example, if I take the variable, like for example, if I say Balaji, right? I am just trying to modify this value. I want to modify this value. I want to mutate this value. I want to change it to Balaji M. With what I can do, I can create the person object, person obj equal to new person. After creating the person object by using this reference variable, right, obj dot, I'm trying to get access to the name. Okay, if I do like Balaji M, I will get an error because I'm trying to perform a modification on which variable? On the private variable. Don't you think so? I'm trying to perform a modification on the private variable. Okay, I'm trying to do the modification on top of the private variable, right? Now, if it is not a private variable, I will not be having any issues, guys. Don't you think so? Will I get any issues? If it's not a private variable, I can directly try to modify that without facing any issues. The compiler will be happy. The compiler will not give any error, right? So obj.name. Okay, let me run this code. Space. So I get Balaji. Balaji has become what? Balaji, right? I'm able to modify. The moment I start using the private variable, I cannot modify because you cannot access a private variable outside the class. Accessing itself is not possible, but I'm trying to perform the modification. Will it allow me to do the modification or it will not allow me to do the modification? So to understand this, let me try to do this. You will get what? Name as the private access in the person. You cannot do the modification. It is giving me like this. Okay. What can I do? I can design a method. What I can do? I can design a method. Right? So in this case, I want to design a method like, okay, public. Okay. So it is just similar to the the accessor method, right? Access modifier has to be public. Let me create a block also. Okay. Now focus here. Return type has to be void always, right? So I will be prefixing a word set. I will be prefixing the word set followed by the variable name. Okay, the name of the variable name is the name itself. The first letter has to be capitalized. That's it. This is how you design the what we call as the method name out of the private variable. The private variable is name. Okay, you are trying to set the value, you are trying to mutate the value, or you are trying to modify the value. In order to do that, you will develop a method. Okay, first word has to be prefixed with set, followed by the variable name, and the variable name you will have to ensure that the first letter is capitalized. Getting it?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, what if we have multi-string, sir?
Here, multi-string in the sense for each and every string you will be you can do no, but because for example, if you have another string like name one, what's the problem with this? So this is different name, it's different name. There is a difference, no? Now you will design the method name as name. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Because duplicates are not allowed. Everything has to be unique. You will get the answer. You will find a way to build the setter method. You will understand this. This is one thing. Now what you want to do here? right? Now in this case, you want to what? You want to pass the data type as string. It has to accept one parameter. The name of the parameter is what? Name of the parameter string itself. We can give any name. You can declare any variable name. Okay, let me take it as something like the new name. Any variable name you can do. Okay, after this, what I want to do, I want to say name equal to new name. You don't get any confused. I will give you the explanation. Okay, I will give you the complete explanation for this method. Firstly, understand that you want to modify this. Okay, to access this, I have used the accessor method. To modify this, I have built a method, and the name of this method is called what? Name of the method is what? Mutator method. Mutator method. Because this method is going to help you to modify the value of the private variable. That's why the name has become was the mutator method, or you can also call it as what? Setter. Setting the value. Setting the value to the private variable. You can say it as setter, or you can also call this as what? The mutator method. Sir, can you explain me this logic? If you ask me, okay, so let me explain. This is not required. Let me explain this part. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Let me take this. First, let me execute this first. I will give you the explanation. What I want to do, obj dot. I want to use this method name set name. Modify the name to Balaji. Modify the name to what? Modify the name to Balaji. Okay. After this, I just want to print system dot out dot println. Okay. Else I can use the system dot out dot println here only. System dot out dot println. Okay. Let me print the name itself. Now you see the output. After tracing the output, you will get the complete picture about this mutated method. You are getting Balaji. Okay, now the question comes. Okay, how it has become Balaji? That is the question. Let me copy this. Focus here. This is my paint screen. Okay, if you want to track this, isn't it? Right. So let me start the execution from the main method. So you have created an object for the person method, right? You know what is object? Object will be created. Forget about that. After this, you are calling what? By using this reference variable. By using the reference variable obj, you are calling a method by the name of setName. Okay, and you are passing the value Balaji. You are passing the value what? Value like Balaji. Balaji. Okay. So the method call will happen, right? Method call is what? SetName method call will happen. This Balaji will be transmitted to this variable name, which is what? Which is new Balaji, I mean new name, right? And this will be assigned to what? Again, this is getting internally assigned to the variable name itself, right? What does it mean? You are taking this Balaji and you are reassigning it to the name variable itself. Okay? Existing name variable. It was Balaji. Now it is going to become what? It is going to become Balaji. After doing this, you are what? You are printing the name variable. What is the name variable? This is a name variable, isn't it? It's a name variable, isn't it? So what will be the output now? Balaji, isn't it? Or not? Balaji. If you want to print, if you want to understand it better about the changes that is happening, about the modification that is happening, let me print the name before the modification. Let me print the name after the modification. Before modification, okay, and after modification. After modification. Now you see the answer in the console. Before modification Balaji, after modification Balaji. Making sense. Now which method we have used? We have used a typical method to do this. We have used a kind of method. We have taken a help. Okay, we have taken a help. Right? This method is called as what? This method is called as what? The mutator method. What is the purpose of the mutator method? Okay, this mutator method is used to set values to the private instance variable. Set values to the private instance variables. Making sense? So when you are designing a method that is going to help you out to set the values to the private variables out of the class directly, you cannot touch this variable directly. So we do not have that guts. We don't have guts to touch this variable directly. So you are making the modification on this private variable by taking the help of a particular method, right? When you perform the modification by taking the help of a particular method as an helper method, okay, that method is called as what? The mutator method, you can say, or else you can also call it as what? You can also call it as setters. Setting the value. Making sense till now? Are understanding? Have you understood the theory and the justification that I give now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, no? Now see, I will give you some theory, you will understand it better. What is a mutator method? Okay, I can copy the same thing, okay, and I can paste it here. Only one difference is mutator method. Mutator method is used to, instead of retry, what I can say, modify, I can say. I can use what? Instead of retry, I can say that modify. Modify or set the values to the private instance variables. First point, clear now? The second point, here it does not modify the data. Accessor method does not modify the data, but mutator method, it does modify the data. I am reiterating it, it does modify the data. Modification will happen. Okay, what is the third point? If anyone is asking the difference, this is the difference that you have to give. This is how you have to give. If you can build, okay, let me write it here. If you can build a method which allows you to modify the private instance variables and where you can perform the write only operation. So writing the data, it is called as what? It is called as the mutator method. Making sense? Right? Now what is the next one? The accessor method are called as getters. The mutator methods are called as setters. The mutator method are called as what? Setters. What is the next point? Now this you should focus, okay? Now you should follow some guidelines. So these guidelines are very important. Let me give you the guideline. Okay? So if you have a private variable, like for example, let me say I have a private variable, private string name. If you want to set the value to this private variable, okay, I need to setting the value. I need to define what? I need to define a method. The name of the method is setter method. Access modifier is clear, public. The return type should always be void. Return type should always be void. And the name of the method should be what? Prefix the word set followed by the variable name, right? The variable, the first letter of the variable name should be capitalized. Okay. This should always accept the parameter that is same as the private variable, right? Just copy this and paste it here. Okay. Inside this, so you take this name, you assign this name to the class level variable, right? So how do we differentiate the local variable and the class level variable? By using this keyword, this dot. Okay, you capture, I mean, you consume the value out of, I mean, through this variable, guys. For example, Balaji will be consumed or Balaji will be assigned to this variable name. We want to assign the variable, I mean, value Balaji to the class level variable, right? If you see, both the variable names are similar, right? They are same, isn't it? How do you differentiate between the local variable and the class level variable? This is the local variable. You are assigning this local variable to the class level variable by using this keyword. We have discussed these things in the last class. I mean, not in the last class, in the last week about this keyword. For example, if I given you another variable, right? Private long, let me say long number. Okay, we want to design a setter for this. Okay, access modifier should always be public. Return type should always be void. Remember, for the setters, return type should always be void. The name of the method should be prefixed with the set name, set word, followed by the variable name, which is number. The first letter should be capitalized. It has to accept an argument. Don't worry, just copy this and paste it here, right? And take the body. Body is what? Assign the value that you receive here, number. Assign the number to the class level variable, which is also number. How do you differentiate between the local variable and the class level variable? By using this keyword. This got number equal to number. Right? Now you tell me what would be the setter method for this variable. Let me say private boolean equal to true. Not true. Let me say correct. Tell me guys, what is it setter method? Design the setter method by using this for this private variable. Come on, everyone, try this. Somewhat correct. Okay, very simple. Don't think much. These are a kind of okay, public access modifier. Return type should always be void, right? And the name of the method should be what? Should be prefixed with set, followed by the variable name, and the first letter should be capitalized, right? It should accept a parameter. Just copy and paste it. Just copy this and paste it here, right? And give the body for this method. Right? You get the local variable name. You assign this local variable to the class level variable name. For the differentiation, you use what? You use this keyword, this dot. That's it. By this, I can give you the what? I can give you the theory. Okay. The name of the method should get prefixed with the word set first of all, followed by the variable name by capitalizing the first letter. Okay, understood. And the return type should always be what? Return type should always be the void type. Return type should always be void data type, void type. Okay. In addition, the access modifier must be public, and the method has to accept the parameter as the private variable. The private data type variable. Okay. The body of the method you have to set the value of the local variable to the class level variable by using what? This keyword. This keyword. Okay, next thing is what? The accessor methods are called as setters. Okay. The mutator methods are called as what? Getters. The mutator methods are called as setters. Example, there is a private variable. Let me take the data type as direct data type. Okay. And let me say that first letter. Okay. And how this variable can be converted to the mutator method, public access modifier, void return type. Okay, and followed by the set word set, prefix should be word set, followed by the variable name, and the first letter has to be capitalized. Okay. This is going to accept the parameter same as the instance variable of the private instance variable. You collect this first letter, locally you will collect this and you will set this to the class level. For the differentiation you use the display. That's it. This is example. Let us use the combination of both set and getter method. Okay. Now I have taken the simple class as person class. Let me remove all this. So now I want to do what? Let me remove this as well. I want to set the value and I want to access that value. To set the value, I can go for setter, right? Set followed by the variable name, okay? Right? And it should accept the same parameter, string name. I need to give the body. Access modifier should always be public. Okay, return type should be void, right? And take this local variable and assign this to the class level variable by using this key. Okay, this is the setter. Setter is done. Okay, now I want to develop the getter. Okay, how I can develop the getter? To develop the getter, we know this, right? We should prefix the variable name. The name should be prefixed with the word get, followed by the variable name. The first letter should be capitalized. We will not pass any parameters, right? We will not pass any parameters. The access modifier should be public, and the return type should be same as the variable data type. String, right? And you have to return what? You have to return the variable name, which is name. Now you have a class, you have a private variable, and you have a setter, and you have a getter. By using the setters and getters, you can initialize the values to the instance variable. Previously, we are using constructors. Constructors can also be used to initialize the values to the instance variables. If you are not okay with the constructors, you can use the setters and getters to initialize the value and to get the value. How can we do that? First, let me create object for the person. Okay. Person p equal to new person. Object is created. After getting this object, I want to use the pre-reference variable. Okay. I want to set name. Set name. Name is what? Let me set the name as what? Java. Okay. After this, I want to do what? I want to use system.out.println. I want to get the value that was set. P dot get. Now you see the beauty. You see the beauty. Java C space B dot Java. Java space Java you are getting. Now you see. Let's trace this. What is exactly happening behind the scenes? You will get the complete picture now. Okay. We haven't started encapsulation. To understand encapsulation, this understanding what is a setter, what is a getter, this understanding is required. Okay. Remember this, you will be using these setters and getters. 60% of the application will depend upon these setters and getters, the real-time project. Our program is perfect. Let us start executing from the main method. Okay, sir. First instruction is what? Person p equal to new person. Okay, an object will be created and it's going to get the reference variable as p. Right? So reference value will be assigned. For the simplicity, I'm taking it as p. Right? It is going to allocate memory for the instance variable. Only one instance variable is there. That is a private type, no issues. And the name of the variable is what? The name itself. Initially, the null value will be assigned. Okay, null value will be assigned. After that, what you are doing? The control is getting transferred to what? The control is getting transferred to the p dot set name. You are calling the set name method by passing the value Java. Okay. So set name method has to be called, isn't it? Set name method has to be called, and this has to be transferred, isn't it, to the set name. Okay, this Java will be assigned to the variable name, the name itself. Okay, it will be consumed and it will be again assigned from the local variable to, it will be assigned to what? It will be assigned to the class level variable. Right? Java will be transmitted, I mean assigned to this variable. Okay? And this value is getting internally assigned to the, from local variable, it is getting transferred to the class level variable. Which means what? This Java is assigned to the variable name, the name itself. Now, in the memory, the null becomes the name, which is what? Which is Java. In the memory, it is very clear that the value has been assigned by using what? By using the setter. Setting the value. You have set the value. Okay? Job has been completed. After completing the job, it has to come back to the place where it was transferred. What is the next line? Next line says, okay, by using the p reference variable, you are getting the name. You're calling the name method, get name method. Control will be transferred to the get name method. It will go inside. It is getting access to the name variable. What is the value inside the name variable? Java. Okay. Java is returned. We collect this value. Value will be sent back here, and the Java will be displayed. That's why in the console you see what Java. Making sense? Are you getting this? What I'm trying to say? I've used both the combinations. So, right? So we are dealing with the private variable. Strictly, there is no access. So I have used the setter to assign the value for the private variable. I used the getter to get the value that was assigned. Making sense, everyone? Are you trying to understand? Yes, no? Hello? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, now you just try to answer this to me. I am just changing this, okay? Not doing much. I have just changed the lines, okay? So the setter is placed in the last line. I am calling the setter method in the last line. Before that, I am calling the getter method. Now, can you tell me what would be the output? Think and tell me. Think better and tell me. Any answers?
Null.
Super, correct. Null will be coming because before even setting the value, you are trying to access, right? So what did I just say? First thing is what? At the beginning, the value is null, right? You're trying to access before even setting the value. Obviously, the answer has to be what? The answer has to be like null, isn't it? Null. Are you getting this? What I'm trying to say, right? You first of all set the value. After setting value, it would be it would make more sense to access this. First set the value, then you can try to access. Making sense, everyone? Do the opposite, null will be displayed. If you get the value first before even setting it, null will be coming because it's going to store the default values if you're not setting any value. And this is one of the examples. Okay, by looking at these examples, you should be in a position to say, by looking at the naming conversions of the method, okay, you should be in a position enough to say there are two methods. They are simply called as the setter method and the getter method. Okay? And the reason why we are dealing with the setter and getter method is just because we are trying to understand the concept of encapsulation. We started to understand what is encapsulation. But to understand encapsulation, first of all, we have to understand what is an accessor method, what is a mutator method. So we have that understanding now. We have built our basement strongly. Okay, tomorrow the understanding encapsulation is going to be like a cakewalk. It's going to be very easy. I will also answer your doubts like you may be thinking that security is compromised. Okay, I have answers for that question also that will be answered tomorrow. For today, that's all from